2018 has been a great year for smartphones, especially for budget smartphones, but it's easy to get lost among this crowd. And Infinix is one of those brands where they have made a lot of phones, but they've gotten lost among the Xiaomis and the Honors. I think that's about to change right now because here is the Infinix Note 5, a phone with gorgeous looks, Android One branding, and a price tag that doesn't justify how good this is. Hey, this is Sreehari from Mr. Phone, and this is our full review of the Infinix Note 5. Before jumping into the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so that you get notified for all the cool tech videos that we put out. The Infinix Note 5 actually impressed me with the design a lot, and it is probably one of the first Infinix phones where I have more than 2 lines to talk about the design of the phone. The back looks gorgeous. I mean, it's not glass, but it surely looks like one, and it looked so good that we had to confirm with the team if it was actually glass or plastic with a glass finish. And this is a plastic with glass finish, but it actually looks good quality and gives it a premium feel. Although even in this limited amount of use, the back has gotten some scratches, but you do get a case inside, so you don't really have to worry much about that. The frames are made of plastic and it's quite sturdy. The plastic does try to deceive you with a matte look, but there's no getting away. Although I think the quality of the plastic isn't really anything that bothered me, and I'm pretty happy with the way it felt. The buttons also feel clicky and sturdy as of now. I haven't had any problems there too. The one tiny design decision I don't like at all is the fact that the frame and the back haven't been seamlessly fused. It almost feels like the back has been tucked into the frame. What this does is it leaves a very sharp edge, and all around the frame you can feel that sharp edge. And it's especially noticeable when you're trying to juggle such a large phone with one hand. The weight distribution feels on point too. The glossy finish gives me a very grippy feeling, and I've really not had much problems with the ergonomics. The camera module is slightly raised, but I'm sure the glass on it will make sure that there are less scratches on it. The bottom has a micro USB port, and while a lot of consumers might be like, we want USB-C, well, it's not easy to suddenly shift to another standard. It's not just a simple port. There are manufacturing methods and entire testing methods that go behind this. So it's difficult to change a standard, but at this price, I am more happy that I got a micro USB cable with fast charging, and that is what we get here. You get an 18-watt charger. We'll talk more about that in the battery section, but yes, you do get a good port and good charging. There is also a headphone jack and a speaker grill on either sides of the micro USB port. Both of them are pretty standard. There was no distortion at higher volumes, and I was pretty happy that even at this price you're getting quality components inside a phone. The Note 5 has a 5.99-inch display with a Full HD Plus resolution at 500 nits brightness. I mean, how well has the pricing come down? We're getting to see quality, good products and good parts at such low and affordable prices. The Infinix implements a very good LCD display, and I'm really happy to see such a good quality display on a phone that costs only this much. The colors are good looking. It isn't by any means a desaturated display. The colors look very vibrant. Most phones in this price range, while had good looking displays, they mostly all of them had ugly color shifts that even a general consumer would have noticed. The Infinix Note 5 does not have that. It's a good quality display all through. It's also clearly visible in bright daylight. I never had to peep through or keep my hand as a shadow to see anything on the screen, so I think you get a pretty good screen here, and you also have the option to hide the notch forever because it doesn't have a notch, and I'm very glad to see that here. It just looks cleaner and more premium than a lot of ugly notched phones. This is an LCD display, so there isn't any worrying about burn-ins. I don't think anyone should have any complaints with this display. On the contrary, this could be one of the best features of the Infinix Note 5. Now coming to the software, the Infinix Note 5 comes with Android One branding. Android One is a program that even Nokia has gotten all of their phones into, and you get clean stock Android and you get promised software updates for the next 2 years. So I mean, Android One is a great initiative from Infinix, and I'm sure this makes it one of the best phones to buy at this price. And especially at this price, it's very difficult to get the most powerful processor, and when you put colorful looking custom OEM ROMs, it just bogs the whole performance down. This is where pure stock Android thrives. It is the lightest Android skin possible, and with the Android One branding, you get assured software updates, as I said earlier. Talking about stock Android, you have all the standard stuff. There are still 2 or 3 pre-installed Infinix apps, but they look quite promising. My favorite one here is the Car Care app. Here you can look up service centers, you can make repair appointments, or even look up prices of spare parts. There is also a feature where if you've given your phone to repair, you can scan the bill that has been given to you and you'll get to know what the repair status is and when your phone will finally be repaired and returned back to you. So I mean, a lot of good features, some of these service features that I have never seen any other brand take it this seriously. So it's really cool that you have only 2 or 3 apps and even they are very useful. The rest is pretty standard. You get the same quick settings panel, no extra settings or anything. Everything is just pure stock Android. On the left of the home screen, you do get a seamless integration of Google Now page for you to keep updated with the world. It also comes with Google Lens integration in the camera. We'll talk about it in the next section. And the settings also had a lot of standard tabs. Under display, you also have an option to turn on or off the notification LED lights. So a lot of control, good features, not too many features which may affect the performance of the phone. It's just a clean stock Android experience, and I think probably the smoothest experience that you can find in this price range. Now coming to performance, before we go to the camera, let's go to the performance ones. Inside the Infinix Note 5, you get a Helio P23 chipset, which is an octa-core chipset, within which you get 3 or 4 GB of RAM or 32 and 64 GB of storage respectively. Now these are on paper specs of this phone, and I wanted to get that out of the way because I'll be doing injustice to the experience this phone provides if I talk only about the specs and judge the phone on the basis of those specs, because the experience on this has been very smooth. It's quite snappy and I have not experienced lag more than once or twice. It's a very clean experience and I'm happy with how this product performs. Everyday use is a breeze, every app opens up quite quickly. I'm coming from reviewing the Honor Play with the Kirin 970. I use the OnePlus 5T with the Snapdragon 835 as my secondary phone, and using the Infinix Note 5, I never felt like I was using a slow phone, and that's the biggest compliment I can give this phone. The Antutu score for the people who want to know for the Infinix Note 5 was around 81,000, although I'm not a big believer of scores. Now talking about gaming, it's good. Obviously not meant to play very heavy games, but even they are playable at lower settings. I mean, I'm not a big gamer, so I enjoyed my time with it, and honestly speaking, if you're a heavy gamer, then this probably is not the device. But if you're anything lower than that, then this shouldn't create a problem for you and should be perfectly enough for playing light games or even medium games on it. Finally, coming to the cameras, the Infinix Note 5 has a single camera on the back and the front. The back has a 12 megapixel camera with a 16 megapixel camera at the front. Now the pictures look quite good. That come out with good colors in broad daylight, and details are also not bad. Looking at some daylight close-up pictures, I deliberately chose difficult colors for the camera and the Infinix did not disappoint. Yes, there isn't much detail, but it still was able to separate the petal borders even in this vibrant red color. Let me put it out that this is not comparable to a Mi A2 or even a Nokia 6.1 Plus when it comes to cameras, but for the price, crazy good, I think. Here are more pictures and I'm sure that you can see how good it looks. Here is a non-HDR shot and here is an HDR shot. So here also it has done a very good job. Although the one thing I noticed is the inconsistency. So some shots would go bizarre on exposure and then the next ones would be perfect. So this is something you need to keep in mind. It's mostly a good camera and even the portrait mode doesn't look bad. There are inconsistencies, but overall the image looks good. Moving towards selfies, the performance is a mixed bag. The dynamic range is completely off, while the subject actually doesn't look that bad. So if you're not against bright sunlight, it should look good. Plus the subjects are very well focused. There is slight over sharpening, but I mean selfies don't look bad, and when you look at that price, they look even better. Here is a video clip. This is probably one of the worst parts of the camera. It's not that good. A lot of focus hunting, a lot of exposure problems that are going on. The sound is also not very good.
It's a good phone, and as you can see, this is the video quality. Please let me know what you think. I'll obviously put it on the computer and see what I think, but let me know what you think of the audio quality and the video quality and how well Nitesh is able to stabilize that video.
So basically this is not the best part of that phone, but yes, you do get the option to shoot video. You also are capped at 1080p at 30 FPS from the Infinix Note 5. But yeah, video not that good, pictures actually not bad when you get it right. Coming to the camera application, it's not from Google and it's still the Infinix app, but I think it's good because you get a whole lot of features. The whole UI is quite intuitive and well designed. On top you have toggles for HDR, flash, an 18:9 aspect ratio option and filters. Settings lets you play with grids, a leveler which actually tells you the correct orientation. You also have Google Lens integrated into the camera, which is so cool. Yesterday I had to scan scan a QR code, and for that, for any other phone, I would have to download a QR scanner or look for a scanner inside it. For this phone, I opened up the camera, I fired Google Lens, and here I was reading the QR scanner. This is one of the cool features that is very undermined right now, but I think it's going to be big, and I'm really glad the Infinix Note 5 has that well integrated, very seamlessly integrated in the camera app even, and you can turn that off. So a lot of features and a lot of control. You also have a lot of modes, like there's bokeh mode, beauty mode, panorama, and a pro mode. So the pro mode lets you manually change exposure, shutter speed, ISO, white balance, focus, and also the metering. So spot metering, center weight, or matrix. So you can change all of these things, and if you are someone who knows how to handle a manual camera, then you have that option too. Basically, coming to the camera, I did not expect the camera to be so good. It's still not comparable to phones that are priced a little higher, but it's still in this price range a very good camera. And let us know if you want to see a camera comparison of this. And now the battery isn't great. It's awesome. That's how good it is. I mean, the battery life on this is crazy good. You get a 4500 mAh battery inside, and the phone isn't that thick too. And you can see it's not really that thick a phone. And you know what the screen on time I got on this was? 7 freaking hours on a phone, on an Android phone. And I'm speaking at this high tone because I want you people to know how good the battery life on this is and how well it has impressed me. Even the standby time on this during the 7 hours of screen on time was 3 days. So I usually charge this phone only once in 2 days, and I get very good screen on times. It also comes with an 18-watt charger, which is a fast charger, by the way. So at 10,000 rupees, there is probably no other phone that gives you a fast charger. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think this is the only phone that gives you a fast charger at this price. So the charging speeds were also not bad. I actually got from 0 to 56% in around 1 hour. So it's for a 4500 mAh battery, that's a really good speed. So you get fast charging, you get a very long battery life. So I think at this price, with that great, beautiful 18:9 aspect ratio display, this is one of the best multimedia devices also that you can buy at this price. Now coming finally to the conclusion, should you really buy the Infinix Note 5? Well, to answer that, let's look at who's the biggest competitor. I think the biggest competitors are the Redmi Note 5 and the Redmi Y2. Now, looking at other phones, maybe the Redmi Y2 has a better camera. Maybe the Redmi Note 5 is completely built out of metal. But coming to all the other things, this has one of the best battery lives. You can't beat that battery life even going to a higher price. It has a good camera. You get Android One software inside this phone. You get a gorgeous 18:9 aspect ratio Full HD Plus display. It's a great package. Even coming to the chipset, the Helio P23 is actually quite powerful, even more powerful in most cases compared to the Snapdragon 625. Not when it comes to the GPU. The GPU on the 625 is more powerful than the Mali G71, but the Helio P23 is much more powerful at this price. So I think it's a very good value for money package at this price. And if I personally had to recommend a phone to anyone at this price, I think I would recommend the Infinix Note 5. So with that, we come to an end of this full review. Let us know if there are any feedbacks, any comparisons that you want to see of this phone in the comment section below. I guess that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. This is Sreehari with the Infinix Note 5, and I'll catch you in the next one.